Story appears ordinary until you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is the story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello there and welcome to CoreTV News on the hour at 7 with me, Sabina Izuku. The governorship election in Adamawa State may be more than a month away, but Nigeria's largest opposition party is already expressing its concerns. All Progressive Congress fears that the October 11 election may witness another round of heavy deployment of security forces. Party chairman John Odige Oyegun cited the deployment of troops during elections in Osun and Ekiti State and says it could affect APC's chances. He, however, maintained that the party is watching the situation.
In Adamawa, the deputy governor, who is also an aspirant, comes from one of the local governments there. Some top military brass come from parts of that local government. And given the activities of the military and security agencies in Ekiti and Osun, we have reason to have fears. But we hope that reason will prevail and that this top military brass will not see it as a mission to return the state as a kind of thank you for the appointments that they have gotten. We hope, sincerely pray that that does not happen.
The People's Democratic Party has cleared former chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Nuhu Ribadu, to seek the party's ticket for the October 11 governorship election. Also cleared to contest at the PDP primaries are Buba Mawa and Marcus Gindiri. The three politicians were former members of the All Progressive Congress who has sought a waiver to be allowed to contest for the PDP ticket. In all, 14 aspirants were cleared by PDP to participate in September 6 party primaries. As a transformation agenda, transformation ambassadors of Nigeria continue to seek support for the second term's ambition of President Goodluck Jonathan. Reaction continues to trail this development. Speaking on Saturday's edition of a flagship program called Digest, public affairs analyst Olabode Oseni explains that government institutions set to enhance good governance has failed in ensuring that there is strict adherence to the rule of law.
Most of the bodies, most of the organizations, institutions that are supposed to regulate, to ameliorate the settings of good governance are just not, no, they are not working. That is the problem. I don't know whether you still understand what I'm trying to say. The records of the federal government of Nigeria, the executive, the legislators, even up to the local government, should speak for themselves. But then, if they want to rerun, they should wait and comply with rule of law. And Section 99 of INEC electoral is clear. It says it clearly. Nobody, and there's no exemption there, I read it. Nobody there gather together and start making any form of campaign.
United States has assured Nigeria's support towards a violence-free general election in 2015. American Ambassador to Nigeria James Entwistle disclosed this during a visit to the leadership of the All Progressive Congress in Abuja. He expressed concern over the security of electorate in the Northeast as general elections draw close. Entwistle says Nigeria can have a peaceful election if politicians agree to work for peace.
Constantly about the importance of non-violence before, during, and after the elections, calling on all politicians to take the pledge ahead of time to guarantee the voters that they will not participate in violence. I think that's very, very important. I know that the media joins me in this, and I think there's a big role for all of you in the media. If a politician comes and he wants to be on your radio station or your TV station, make him take the nonviolence pledge if he wants to use your station. That's something very, very important that the media can do. So my country stands for elections and democracy around the world, and we're doing everything we can to help here. So far, everything I see is the plan is to conduct the elections everywhere in the country, but that's something that I think we all have to work for, but fully understanding that in certain parts of the country, the security situation right now is a bit delicate. But I think we have to work towards that. Related to that in the Northeast, it's not just whether you can run the elections in those states, it's what happens to all of the voters who have been displaced by the violence. And on election day, if they're not at home and they're not in their polling place, will they be able to vote?
It's his first visit here. We are a party that is 1 year old. And I suppose it was quite right for him to come to make our acquaintance, to familiarize himself with us, our thinking, how we view the various situations as they are developing in the country, our attitude and reactions to the elections that have been held, our expectations for the elections that are to come, and so on and so forth. And it was a very useful discussion.
The Kwara State chapter of the People's Democratic Party has alleged a display of gunpowder by both youth and elders of the ruling All Progressive Congress in Ajashe, Ikbo-Irekbodu local government area of Kwara State. In a statement by Kwara PDP Publicity Secretary Rex Olawoye, the party employed the Kwara State Police Command to quickly stop the tide of violence that is now gradually enveloping parts of the state as a result of power tussle over the second-term ambition of the incumbent governor, Abdul Fattah Ahmed. According to the PDP Publicity Secretary, fracas in Ajashe Ikbo has only vindicated PDP's position that the leadership of the Kwara APC are only interested in retaining power at all cost and at the detriment of the peace and tranquility of the state. He stated that newspaper reports indicated that the bloody fracas was caused by aggrieved Kwara South APC youth leaders who stormed the venue of the meeting where the second-term bid of the governor was being perfected and beat up their party elders, black and blue. The Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has promised to take necessary actions that will ensure equity in delineation of wards and creation of additional polling units by the State Independent Electoral Commission. Fashola made this known while receiving the reports on investigation on delineation of wards and creation of additional polling units from the chairman of the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, Abdul Fattah Adeyinka. The Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission boss explained that the state will further involve citizens in all parts of the state, Lagos State, to participate in the process of electing their representatives.
Every country, every community is a continuing work in progress. And so new towns, new communities spring up, sometimes in what used to be forests. Areas that used to be rural become rapidly urbanized. People move there. And so it is not just enough to build roads, to build schools, to build hospitals there. It is also important to ensure that those people who have moved into new communities, who have built new estates, have an opportunity to participate in how decisions affecting their lives are taken. And this is the guarantee of participatory democracy in our state.
For his part, the Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission Board says the report is the result of a stakeholders forum held in 2010, which was later aborted for the 2011 general election. He noted that the report, if adopted, will assist INEC in conducting elections without any hitch.
One is to go in the log of this exercise, while the other one is to stay in the office, just take biro and pen and paper. How many words do we have now? Then we start delineating. No, we believe we should go into the field and base our report on empirical facts, which is what we have done.
Let's take a short break, and when we return, the news at 7 continues. Stay with us.
This is Lagos. This is our city. You know that our city needs heroes. Yeah, yeah. Our future is in our hands. The spirit of Lagos, a city that is strong in value, a Lagos that is filled with heroes. With neighbors that care for each other. This is Lagos. This is our city. Our city needs heroes. Our future is in our hands. The spirit of Lagos.
I need you, you need me. Together, we're the spirits of Lagos.
Welcome back. The federal government has promised to pay all accumulated staff claims, allowances and other pending entitlements of the Public Complaints Commission. The commissioner of the agency, George Uluko, says this in Abuja during a commissioning of the operational vehicles. He says lack of vehicles in the commission has affected the agency's quest to wipe out all forms of administrative vices across the country. 30 vehicles were commissioned to enhance the Commission's ability to fulfill its mandate.
To note here that the Commission is presently on frontline charge in revenue allocation and is currently receiving regular funding. Consequent upon this, and though the Commission is still underfunded, we have started the payment of accumulated staff claims, allowances, and other entitlements. This shall continue until all the backlog of entitlements are cleared. As I commission these trucks and buses, I'm of firm belief that the investigation staff of the Commission will henceforth be more resilient in our quest to fulfill our mandate and wipe out all forms of administrative vices wherever they exist in this country.
And on electricity, Nigeria now generates 4,500 megawatts of electricity. Minister of Power Chinedu Nebo disclosed this at the end of a meeting on power chaired by Vice President Namadi Sambo at the Presidential Villa. He told State House correspondents that gas supplies are now reaching the power plant, adding that Nigerians should expect more stable power by October.
New gas we're expecting, we have them trickling in right now, so that part of the shortfalls we've had in production up to this time, we hope that by beginning of October, we will see a much better stabilization of the entire power delivery system in the country. So first, I would say we rejoice that for the first time in a long time, we've been averaging over 4,500 megawatts when we include nearly 300 megawatts of spinning reserve, which is always put there to make sure that the reliability and stability of the grid is ensured at all times. So we are really moving forward. It may not be as rapidly as Nigerians expect, but it's important to let us know and everybody know that indeed we are advancing, we are making progress, we will continue to make progress.
Maybe from Madam.
In a related issue, the Nigerian government has signed a memorandum of understanding with the Brazilian power company, Benco, as part of efforts to ensure adequate and quality power supply in Nigeria. The deal worth over $800 million is meant to facilitate the construction of a power plant in Bayelsa State.
The Nigerian government signed a memorandum of understanding, and that memorandum of understanding was aimed at bringing into Nigeria electro brass to help Nigeria develop as much as 10,000 megawatts of power for our people. What we are seeing today is the very first takeoff of implementation of that memorandum of understanding, bringing Benko and Nagia to work with the Federal Ministry of Power for their plant.
Turbines that runs on gas, added of another 2 turbines that will run on vapor, that will be generated from the exhaust gas of the gas turbines. So that's the power module of the power plant that we're going to be implementing. We have all the right infrastructure that we need, because we also need a lot of water to run through these turbines.
You have to stand up and do it.
The National Boundary Commission is to carry out all necessary surveys with a view to resolving the lingering dispute between Kogi and Anambra states. This was the outcome of a meeting presided over by Vice President Namadi Sambo in Abuja. There had been clashes in recent times around the border of 2 states over the ownership of an oil-rich community. But after the meeting, the two states' governments are convinced that the dispute will soon end.
Under the direction of Mr. President, the Boundary Commission is tracing the boundary between the affected states in our area, and by the grace of God, by the end of this year, all these issues will be behind.
And I'm quite pleased with the meeting and the way the Vice President carried out the meeting. He basically gave directives to the National Boundary Commission to set a date to do all the necessary surveys and establish the boundary between us and the Kogi state. And I believe in the near future things will be sorted out.
The federal government has lifted the ban placed on residency training at all federal hospitals nationwide. It has also ordered the reinstatement of all resident doctors who were disengaged as a result of the action. Health Minister Oyubuchi Chukwu says all chief medical directors and medical directors of the training centers have been directed to issue letters of reinstatement to the resident doctors to enable them resume work immediately. He, however, added that the appraisal of the residency program is still ongoing, with a view to making it better. It will be recalled that few days after calling off the nationwide strike, the doctors had complained that the government had not withdrawn the suspension circular. The Rivers State government has identified the lone Ebola casualty in the state. He is Ike Enemu. The doctor that attended to an ECOWAS staff was one of the primary contacts of the late Liberian American Patrick Sawyer. The doctor was said to have treated the diplomat of Ebola symptoms in a hotel in Port Harcourt. Rivers State government has placed 100 people on surveillance, including contacts from the hotel, the doctor's patient, and the patients of the hospital where Enemu was treated before his death. The ECOWAS staff who took Ebola to Port Harcourt was initially placed under surveillance in Lagos before escaping to seek alternative treatment. We'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll take you outside Nigeria. Stay with us.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website, www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime Days.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. And Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then news. CoreTV News, a 24-hour news station.
Good to have you back. And outside Nigeria, EU Commission head Jose Manuel Barroso wants that crisis in Ukraine was reaching the point of no return after reports Russian troops were fighting in the east of the country. Barroso says it was both imperative and not too late to find a political solution to the conflict, which has cost more than 2,500 lives since April. EU leaders will be meeting today late on Saturday when they are expected to agree on tougher sanctions against Russia after NATO charged that Moscow now had 1,000 troops fighting in support of rebel forces in southeastern Ukraine and has shipped in large amounts of heavy weaponry.
President Barroso.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and let me start by warmly welcoming President Poroshenko to Brussels. We met this morning to exchange views about the ongoing crisis in a very serious, I would say, dramatic situation. We may see a situation where we reach the point of no return. If the escalation of the conflict continues, this point of no return can come. We will not stay without European Union reaction. We are talking about the fate of Ukraine, but tomorrow it could be about the fate for security and stability for the whole. Today we here speak not about the war. We want to speak about the peace and to create and to confirm the strong solidarity of the European Union together with Ukraine. That in the very next days, starting from Monday, we can demonstrate the real progress in the peace negotiation. Why? Because we are too close to the border where from it would be no return to the peace plan.
Syrian government forces bombarded Juba eastern district of Damascus in a fierce offensive aimed at wresting control of the key sector back from rebels, multiple reports say. Juba has been in insurgent hands for a year and is strategic because it provides a gateway to the center of the capital. It is also opened onto the eastern Ghouta region, a rebel stronghold in Damascus province. Reports say the army had killed dozens of rebels, including a Jordanian and a Saudi, and had taken control of various buildings. Residents of nearby areas reported Juba under heavy bombardment since Thursday, with pillars of smoke rising above the area and warplanes overhead. Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights called the current government offensive against Juba the heaviest since rebels seized it in summer last year. In more than 3 years of fighting, the number of deaths in Syria conflict had topped 191,000, according to the UN figures, despite heavy fighting between rebels and region forces. This front has almost been relegated to the background as Islamic State jihadists battle both insurgents and President Bashar al-Assad's military. And that wraps it up on the news at 7. Please do join us on our primetime news at 9:45 p.m. I am Sabina Izoku, and thank you very much indeed for watching.